distorted by distance, but undeniably artificial. Probably remnants of some forgotten probe, one admiral scoffed. Or pirates masking their codes, another added. Yet the more they analyzed it, the stranger it became. The frequency carried a signature that matched fragments stored in galactic archives, ancient files linked to the folklore of Earth. Laughter returned to the halls. So the humans are calling us, from their fairy tale graves. Still, investigation was ordered, not out of fear but curiosity. A task fleet of 7 ships entered the expanse, their commanders confident they would return with debris and a story to amuse the council. But when they arrived, the signal intensified. No pirate vessel revealed itself. No derelict probe awaited. Instead, the stars themselves seemed to hum with a rhythm, slow, deliberate, purposeful. As if someone or something was answering a question the galaxy had long since stopped asking. The moment of revelation. 3 days later, the task fleet fell silent. No signals returned, no status reports, just silence. Then came the transmission, unlocked not by Dominion codes but by a failsafe buried in the archives. It was an old language, one scarcely remembered by any species. The words flickered through static, yet clear enough to freeze the blood of any scholar. "This is Earth, we hear you." Shock tore through the Dominion. Councils that once laughed now demanded answers. Scholars who mocked folklore scrambled through dusty records. And across the galaxy, the same message appeared, piggybacking on trade relays, hidden in starship navigation beacons, whispered through channels thought secure. "This is Earth, we hear you." It was not a plea, it was not a question. It was a declaration. Myths made flesh. Weeks later, when the first human vessel appeared, no one believed it. It emerged near the Dominion border, a single ship, sleek yet scarred, its hull design unlike any known empires. It bore no banners, no marks of allegiance. Only one word etched across its armored frame: Terran. Dominion warships encircled it immediately, weapons armed, their captains laughing at the audacity of a lone relic daring to cross their space. But then the Terran ship moved. Its engines whispered thunder, folding space in a way no engineer could comprehend. Weapons systems, ancient yet flawless, locked onto the Dominion fleet with impossible precision. The laughter died. A single warning came across the comms, spoken in that long-forgotten tongue, but translated perfectly into every language of the galaxy. "You thought us gone, you were mistaken." The first volley reduced the Dominion flagship to drifting ash. The battle that followed was not a contest, it was a lesson. Dominion ships crumbled under weapons the galaxy had never seen. Kinetic strikes shattered shields once thought impenetrable. Stealth technology outmaneuvered even the sharpest predators. The Terran ship did not fight for survival. It fought with the calm dominance of a predator reminding scavengers why it ruled. When the battle ended, only silence remained. And for the first time in countless cycles, the galaxy realized that folklore had teeth. The whispers that followed. In the aftermath, fear spread faster than the Terran ship could travel. Senates convened in panic. Armadas reinforced their borders. Merchants whispered of trade lanes haunted by Terran shadows. Children who once giggled at bedtime stories now shivered when parents spoke the word Earth. Scholars scoured their archives, desperate to understand the truth they had dismissed. Every scrap of old human history, myths of resilience, wars of survival, promises of vengeance, took on new meaning. What had once been metaphor was now warning. The Dominion, humiliated, tried to suppress the truth, but the galaxy had already heard, and the phrase spread from world to world like wildfire. The humans have returned. Resolution, folklore with teeth. Across the stars, silence grew whenever the word Earth was spoken, no longer a jest, no longer a bedtime tale. For if a single ship could humiliate an empire, what waited beyond it? How many more myths slept in the dark? How many fleets did humanity hide, watching, waiting, until the galaxy's arrogance summoned them? And so, where once there was laughter, now there was dread. Because every world, every council, every empire now knew the truth. Folklore is real. Earth responds. And the galaxy would never laugh again. The Council of Stars in the folklore they mocked. The grand hall of the celestial conquered was older than most of the empires that still breathed in the spiral arms of the galaxy. Its pillars shimmered with crystalline veins, catching the light of distant suns through massive dome windows. Inside, the most powerful voices of the galaxy assembled: senators, admirals, scholars, and warlords, all gathered in the name of what they called galactic truth. And like so many times before, the truth of humankind was once again dragged into the chamber. Humans, scoffed Chancellor Valen of the Vora Dominion, his mandibles clicking in derision. A phantom species invented by primitives to explain their lost wars. Myth, nothing more, like gods hiding in shadows. A chorus of amusement rippled through the chamber. Senators thumped appendages against polished stone. Scholars exchanged glances, eyes gleaming with mockery. Admiral Cathor of the Kale Confederacy let out a low, rumbling laugh that carried through the acoustics of the chamber. I've heard the stories, a warrior species, flesh-born but relentless, builders of ships that drank suns, soldiers who fought even when death claimed them. Legends, stories to frighten children into silence before sleep. If such beings had ever lived, the galaxy itself would bear their scars. Do you see scars? Do you see their banners? Nothing, came the smug reply from countless voices. The words hung in the air, layered with arrogance. For millennia, the galaxy's civilizations had passed around tailies of the humans, Terrans, they were sometimes called, in half-whispered folklore. They were painted as both destroyers and saviors, the ones who rose from a forgotten cradle world and nearly tore apart the stars in their wrath. But no ruins, no records, no tangible proof had ever been found. And so humans became a joke, a superstition. A senator from the Eastern Rim raised a jeweled digit. Even the old archives admit the probability of their existence was always embellished. You know how frontier tribes are. They invent giants to justify their defeats. Earth, Terra, humanity. These names are relics, scattered across cultures that barely knew fire. The laughter thickened. Folklore, declared High Archivist Zeril, her voice stern with finality. That is all they are, dust in forgotten songs. The chamber roared in agreement. The myth of humanity was buried again, mocked, ridiculed, dismissed. No one noticed that beyond the glittering dome of the council chamber, in the deep black between stars, a signal stirred. A signal the galaxy had not heard in 10,000 years. The folklore of warriors. Among the galaxy's countless civilizations, the folklore of humans was remarkably consistent. It was always the same story, no matter the tongue, no matter the age. Humans were the ones who did not surrender. They were the ones who fought in silence when their voices were torn away, who built machines not to dazzle but to endure, who turned death into fuel, war into art, and despair into defiance. The stories painted them as almost unnatural, as though something in their blood drove them to claw against every limit placed before them. Some tailies said they were banished for their violence, others that they simply vanished when they grew too strong. but in every version, they left behind warnings. Should you hear their signal, one old Zarin proverb whispered, "Pray it is not meant for you." It was folklore, harmless, amusing, and conveniently distant. Civilizations used the human myth as a rhetorical tool. To inspire soldiers. To frighten children. To excuse failure in lost wars. But never in the deepest councils of power did anyone truly believe. And yet the folklore was never quite forgotten. Like an ember smoldering under ash, it waited.